Okay, so he had agriculture and city-states. Yeah, I'd say agriculture is a startup opening here, no?
Yeah.
Like, because at least.
So yeah, so I guess what's interesting is whether you would have done something different in your opponent's position, whether you think, you know.
No, I mean, here agriculture is the obvious choice. I think.
Yes.
City, you don't, like, city-states only blocks potentially, like, say.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine. I mean, you'll go. I always like being the second person at the beginning because I like to see what my opponent has. But with agriculture and city-states, chances are whichever one you meld, you're going to be first. So
also agriculture is good against clothing.
Yeah.
Assuming you have two different colors, like if you have only one color, then it's not worth it. But at least, like, you draw twice, like you draw once, and then hopefully you get three colors. And he got sailing. Yeah, so here I got masonry, I think. But,
okay, so you returned that one.
No, so I drew.
So use domestication to get a meld and a draw, right?
Yes.
It's just efficient.
Yes, and then I didn't want to get rid of domestication, so I drew again.
Yeah.
I think I got mysticism.
Okay.
He got clothing, melts clothing. So mysticism, here I got the wheel, so I was like, okay, like, which I cannot get any more castles than this. And here I got writing, so clothing was gonna be no problem.
So I might have drawn just melded sailing and used it, rather than drawing a card and which was clothing. Right, I like sailing early on because, you know, it fills up the board.
Right.
So I'm slightly surprised that rather than do that, he drew a card, which turned out to be clothing, which normally isn't a bad card, but wasn't helpful for him. So yeah,
I think the point with sailing is that Colin doesn't like too much random draws. Like, I think we are good if your board is weak, but I think one of his main strategic objectives in general is to get age 1, because it means that you are not going to lose 6-0 essentially. No, I know it sounds stupid, but like, like if I say it like this, but like,
yeah,
somehow
it can give you a good advantage sometimes.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
I'm never worried about the first 2 achievements. I mean, I feel if I'm playing somebody who's better than me, like Thomas, for example, I start to get nervous if he builds up a lead. But as long as I have, you know, later in the game, there are ways where you just score 4s and 5s and 6s quite quickly, and you can score a lot of points, right? The effort to get up to 10 or 12 points from 1s and 2s can be, you know, is good. You feel like you've got a lead, but I'm not sure that's something to base a strategy around.
No, so like,
I mean, I see the point that sailing is a bit random. You might meld over a card you want, like agriculture, for example, here, which is a scoring card.
Like me, if I have pottery, sailing is not being used.
Fair enough, but you're bulking up quickly on your board with domestication. So I think looking at the long term, there's a need. I mean, obviously, I'm not telling you how to play, but you know, I think there's a need to counter that by having a reasonable number of symbols on the board. And I would, so that would have been my way to do things.
Yeah,
of course, he would have just melded clothing over it, right?
Yes.
With these
we are
cards,
discussing about
have mattered, but you know.
No, so sorry, just one comment about the getting 1 point, and like I think what cdrake wants to avoid is not so much losing 6-0 to 6-1. Like that's not the idea. But in part, like if you get age 1, good chances are that the game has to progress until age 7, unless you get the other person gets special achievements, and that gives you time to somehow it gives you more time to address things. So it's not just to get 1 point on the board, but it's to remove it from the other person more, and to make the game last longer so that you have more time to react. I think that's the idea.
Okay, I can appreciate that.
Like in particular, like if you get the first 2 and you force the game to go to age 8, then like first of all you are 2-0, which is better than the other way around, and also you know that somehow the game has to last up to a certain age, and like given that cdrake like against like he has a good understanding of the whole game as a whole, he probably thinks if I don't lose early, I have better chance of coming back. I think that's
yeah, no, that's true. I mean, there are, when you get up to levels 4, 5, 6, there are, you know, various cards that help you to come back in. So yeah, you don't want to be so far behind at that point that it's hard to come back. So yeah, okay, makes some sense, right? So
Drew Code of Laws.
Yeah, to me, it's a balancing act. You don't want to completely ignore achievements, but if you have the opportunity and it's not at great cost, then it buys you quite the time and flexibility for late game, mid game, late game.
So I might have, in this position, melded city states and used it. Right. I mean, you'd get mysticism almost certainly because that's what happens. But
yes,
it would, you know, I would be happy to share mysticism if I had it on my board to, you know, I mean, again, it's randomizing a little bit, but I'm happy with that early in the stage. They might cover up the wheel because otherwise you just look like you're going to use the wheel a lot. And so they're just, yeah, there doesn't seem to be any reaction as to what you are doing.
I don't know, like if I have to make a guess, I would think that like his main idea is I want pottery. Like you draw until you get pottery. Like this is like
no, I know how much
be wrong, but
and agriculture.
Is pottery that advantageous?
Sorry, Link?
Is pottery that advantageous to have?
It's something like
I know it's nice, but
like it's something like it's not so much that you have it, but the other person doesn't have it.
Yeah.
But the bigger risk to me is I'd rather give you pottery and get rid of your wheel than to just like definitely fail to the wheel.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the other thing here is that if you were to draw pottery, Thomas, you'd have to share it. And what was my other thing? You're likely to draw pottery anyway because you've got the wheel, so you're just drawing many more ones.
Exactly.
So that looks like a very low percentage strategy, and I'm not sure the advantage is very big.
Oh, okay. Maybe
we saw how this developed in the game, right? You got pottery, and it's not. So, but yeah, I
might well be wrong. Just say that's one
also,
option. The other option, he wanted something to like. He was hoping in blues, which like to start getting some score.
Well, pottery fills both. Yeah,
I'm gonna run early, guys, but it was good commenting. Good watching the game. Nice seeing y'all.
Okay. Oh, I scared him off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like maybe like I think it. Like maybe you are right. Maybe that was the right thing to do. But like, I think in general, Colin is not so happy with like giving cards to your opponent, and like.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sharing and doing things it's one of the skills in the game, which I'm sure Colin has, is knowing when to do it. It's something I still struggle with occasionally. But yeah, you just look like you're just going to play around with the wheel a lot and just get lots of cards and have a choice of what to meld and things. So,
Well, the other thing is,
I'd already in Colin's position feel like, where am I going? What is my strategy here? I feel a little bit behind.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I think he's been a bit unlucky with the cards that he's drawn.
Yes.
But I think there's possibly better thing anyway. So what did he do now?
Got pottery.
So he got pottery, which arguably is the card he wanted.
Yeah, like just one thing, like what Nick was saying, like wheel against pottery. Personally, pottery is a very good way to stop the wheel. Like the moment I saw pottery, I was like, I don't want to draw all of these cards. Like, so like
yeah,
the wheel is strong, but like if you start emptying deck 2 and deck 3, you're going to pay for it.
Yes, no, yeah. So and we saw during the game that you kept returning cards to make sure that pottery and agriculture were only scoring ones, right? That there were still cards in the one and 2 deck. But okay, so Colin seems to have got what he wanted, right? So he's got pottery in his hand now. So then what happened?
Yeah, so I drew 2, and then I think I used domestication to play tools.
Yeah.
And the card I got was road building. So this stage I had writing masonry, road building, and what's the last one?
From the other yellow.
Yeah,
you didn't
no, so masonry.
Oh, okay, that's
writing. It, what else is there? Ores.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah.
So annoyingly, you've melded a blue card, so clothing won't score any points. So he just melds it.
Yeah, and then so this is something I wouldn't do personally. Like I'm all in for points, but returning free cards with pottery is something I wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I mean, as I say, I think, yeah, cities and you look like you're going to use tools very soon because you have cards in your hand. So this just looks like he's going to be stuck in the age 1 while you happily do all sorts of tech. So I didn't like this move either.
But this is something Colin does systematically, I think.
Yeah, well.
No, I'm just saying, like, I something I don't do, but like I think I ask myself like why, and my impression is like, and maybe I even asked him. Now I don't remember if we had this discussion, but like I think his focus is on getting the first achievement. To me, this is too high a cost. I wouldn't do it.
I think in this game, so I think this move is not good in this situation.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it looks like you're going to use tools and get a 3, and then you're going to start. You're just going to be leveled up. I mean, there are good cards in the 2s that Colin might come across, but he's just putting lots of 1s back that will take a long time to draw.
Yeah, like
to get up. Yeah.
Now, personally, I would have used pottery. Code of Laws, you get a 2, and Like,
Yeah.
I mean, just I mean, you get rid of one of the cards in your hand. You draw a 2, which is what you would do anyway. And no.
Yep. Okay. So Colin went and returned his cards. Do and scored a 3.
That's
and he knew. I mean, that's presumably the one he wanted back because he returned them in the order and knew that he would get that. So that seems a bit strange, but there you go.
So then I drew, and then so
you presumably did not want to return the three of the cards you had in your hand, otherwise, which is why you didn't use tools first of all. We thought.
Yeah, like the idea was like horse is a good counter to pottery anyway, and so I would have liked to keep it.
Yeah.
And road building was good to get rid of. Like I could steal clothing and start scoring myself, so I wanted to keep that. And I was thinking, okay, like let's see what he like. If I get more cards, I have more choices. That was essentially
So tools. You sent back the cards that you thought were least helpful.
Yeah, so Kodos was like basically his hands. Like, plus writing, I think. So here I was happy.
Yeah, we were discussing this in the chat over whether, I didn't think you would use alchemy straight away because you would be returning the cards in you would almost certainly, 2 out of 3 chance draw a red card and have to return the cards in your hand that you presumably did not want to return because otherwise you would have used tools as your first action in the last turn. So I was surprised that you did it, but fair enough.
No, so the idea was like, okay, it can fail twice, but eventually it has to succeed.
Yes.
Because of the number of cards, nothing.
Yes, and because
I can rearrange the deck, and I can make sure that the only scenario was like it had to work at worst the third time.
Yes.
And then it would pay off big because like you have 4 cards and like something will happen.
You have a good choice. You have a good choice of. It's very annoying when you use alchemy and you only draw 2 cards and you want them both.
Yes.
But you meld one and you have to score the other, and it's like, oh no, I don't. Yeah, which of these?
You don't want either. No, okay. I don't want experimentation because I need score. or like you get experimentation and printing press and you have nothing on the purple side. No.
Okay, so
and also so apparently so
you put masonry back because it's not or you've got all the cards with castles in, so it's unlikely you'll get monument from that.
But also, like if Colin had decided, oh, now I want to draw all the castles and get monument, I'm very happy about that.
Yes. So so sailing goes on the board because it needs to start doing something. And then you do alchemy, which doesn't work. And then you do alchemy again, which doesn't work again. But you've set yourself up, which is fine. Except you've returned.
Here it was key to put gunpowder last.
Yes.
Like this is one of those moments where you need to when I used to play and I never paid attention. I didn't know in which order things were.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I didn't realize that they went back in the order that you put them until quite recently.
Yeah, and so here is one moments where you have to start like, how do I return them? And I think gunpowder last was the right choice.
Yes, but you have returned the one, so you've returned city states or whichever card, and now
again, I put. I think the idea was okay, like I will draw.
You want colonialism to be the 5th card, so you can do alchemy and then draw colonialism and then do alchemy again, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
So sorry, the 5th you mean after gunpowder or?
No, after, so you're in the deck that's returned, right? Because you want to use alchemy on your next turn to not get a red card.
And then exactly, yes.
You want to draw the red card.
Yes.
So
yeah. I put it last, I think.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, here maybe he could have used. I mean, he knew the order. He could have used sailing.
Yeah, so I would have just used sailing. I don't know why.
Yeah, or maybe he didn't know the order.
I would still have used sailing, right? You're not going to cover up sailing. I guess he was worried he might cover up pottery. But, you know, I think it's... So by this point, we'd called the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I was quite happy. Yeah, because also at this stage I was going to draw only 3 castles, so I could do alchemy again.
Yeah.
Like
so that was
after drawing gunpowder.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here also.
I mean, great. He's got the first achievement, but you know,
yeah,
it's he's got a long way to come back from here. So
yeah, here I even had the luxury to say, okay, like let's draw with the wheels so that they're more cost efficient. Like this way I could use perspective more times using the ones.
Yes. Yeah, no, we saw.
But like this is like this is luxury. Like in normal positions, normal conditions, I would just perspective and achieve. But I thought I was so ahead. That, like,
yeah, no, we saw. Yeah, we just saw that you were. Yeah, I say there's not very little happened of interest after this.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Maybe I could have given archery first. But yeah, he would have kept stealing. So, I mean, mysticism was potentially.
Mysticism is normally what you do here to stop city-states being used again.
Yes.
And you're, you know, yes, he can share it with you, but you have 4s in your hand, so you're not in danger of being, you know, knocked back in tech by having your high cards covered up.
Yes, and also I could choose which one to put back. So
yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, and then here I put back horse because it's okay. If you really want to get mysticism, you are going to cover archery.
Yep. Yeah. No, we worked out that you'd chosen the card to return so that you got it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, here I could have used the horse, but I mean, why do it? So he does it again. Okay, then I could have. Yeah, I mean, here he was just trying to
he was just, yeah, I mean, he has to do something random. He has to shake it up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it didn't work particularly well.
Yes. Yeah, and here I like more points.
Yeah.
I had gunpowder and I was thinking, should I try to get rid of mysticism? But I just thought that I was going to free sailing probably first.
Yeah.
Then it could have shared, and then we are exactly in the same position. So I say, okay, let's keep mysticism.
I think it would be very hard to do the wrong thing here and lose the game from your position.
are you questioning my tactical genius?
He's saying you are way too lucky. Thank you very much.
Well, I
I
just
mean,
think
it is
this point,
it's
yeah.
true, but like this could be a case study. Like we put the best minds of innovation. How do you get back from a situation like this? And I'm not sure there is an answer.
No.
Well, the only person at this time that could answer your question would be Block.
Yeah.
That's
Or
because
cdrake.
himself, yes, that would be great if he answers it, yes.
No, I mean, it's a pity that he didn't stay, because I mean, it's true that it was not a balanced game, but it's still, I think it's interesting to know the thought process. No, like personally,
Yes.
I find
He
it
did pretty
interesting.
good, stealing a perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here it probably made it. And also, what did I do? Did I achieve? And then he played road build. No. Yeah, not particularly loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got chemistry, which was nice.
Yeah.
Leave. Education that couldn't be more used. Yeah, here maybe instead of doing medicine immediately, could have waited, but I'm not sure if I would have used chemistry again, because I was only going to get 2 points, and I mainly used chemistry for this play.
Yes. So there you achieved, because just so you're not doing anything.
Yeah, at
So
this
your
stage it
second
was
act
just
random.
yeah. So sorry, Simpson.
So that you're saying, yeah, it's one of these cases where you don't want to do a second action that maybe you can't predict and your opponent can take advantage of. So the thing of just doing something first and then achieving with the second action because you're happy with your board at the moment.
Yes.
So yeah.
And he still.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, if he had. Like if
I mean, it's clear he wants to use education here to tech up.
Yeah, but
that seems to be his strat, which is good. I mean, he needs to tech up, right? Not just to compete with the cards and their power, but because he needs to be level 6 to get any achievements.
Yes.
Taking them all, right? So he needs to score lots of points and tech up. It's very hard to do both of those. So
yeah, so here I drew. Actually, I don't remember. Maybe no, it was maybe physics.
Yeah.
When he's at this point, he probably thought, okay, the situation keeps getting worse. Yeah, this was. I don't know. Why did he do that?
I was surprised. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the cards were that transferred, but could he have just used translation first of all?
Maybe.
He did.
I mean, that seemed like melding a 6 and a 4 rather than a 6 and a 3.
Yes. I mean, if that was the plan, but seems really. I mean, maybe the 3 was really bad. I don't know.
Can you go back a step? You could see what it was. Does it say in the you transfer feudalism? Okay, so he didn't want feudalism because it's purple and would have melded over education. Okay, fair enough. Right.
Still, Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time seeing how. Like, I mean, I don't see what one.
No, yeah, but clearly, you know, this is a way for him to get up to level 6, and that's if he doesn't do that, he's not going to win. So.
No, but I'm just saying I'm not in. Like, of course, feudalism sucks. We all know that, but I'm not entirely sure if you have the luxury of a move to. Like, if a point was not to cover education, he ended up covering it anyway. Like, I would have.
Well, but he didn't know that because he didn't know what.
No. I know, but what I'm saying is.
Yeah, and he doesn't.
Would value one move more than what, like, not having. Like, okay.
Maybe. And he's not going to have the light bulb majority either because you displayed your card. So that was fortunate. I think that's about a, you know, not far off a 50-50, I think, physics.
No, it's 2/3, I think.
Is it? Okay.
And that, like, if you fail the first, then it drops significantly. Like, I had it computed somewhere.
Right.
Do you want the numbers? I have them.
No, I can work out, I think, a number. Yeah, no, okay. So yeah, it's maybe it's 60% or something. So yep.
Yeah, so I got atomic theory, which was like.
Yeah. No, we were like, yeah, you've got perspective to score and you've got cards to level up to allow you to get the achievements. And then he took perspective, which was the card that scored, which delayed things a bit, delayed the inevitable.
Yeah, at this point it was just I need 5 points or
yeah.
I need 10 points and this game is over. Like, it wasn't like, because he couldn't even use perspective at this stage. So like I could do.
Yes.
Plus I had industrialization, so like monument was possible very quickly.
Yeah. No, it was all. Yeah.
Like, here I was thinking, like, maybe he will use road building, but I can use publication to get cards back on top if I need.
Yeah.
And I can, like, if I use industrialization, I can get some, like, here I have at the bottom there is I got, for instance, machine tools. So I was thinking, worst case, I can use publication to bring.
Yeah, Nick said that in the commentary that would just be a way to safely score points.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the cards you're worried about from are things like, what is it? Is it statistic? Which is the yellow card with leaves that just destroys your opponent's score point?
Like the one that moves it to your hand, or vaccination?
Yeah, one of those. Either would be bad for you.
Yeah,
right?
Vaccination was probably the only thing that could. Yeah, because now I wouldn't have without perspective.
Yeah.
But like, he had to fish it in the deck. Like, he had no way to draw basically, and he had to do it one by one. So.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, this is why, you know, it was important for him to get to level 6. So at least, you know, he had a sniff of those cards that, because you've got like no leaves, we've got one. So it can be dangerous at this point in the game to not have, you know, leaves or leaves, you know, destroy your opponent's score pile, and crowns often help.
At this stage, to be honest, I was like, nothing can go wrong. Like, in the worst case, I can just put industrialization back, get one more, get monument. I have system under the wheel. I can publication.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's much, but it would have, you know,
Yeah.
that was the only way I think for the game to go on a bit longer is an early draw of one of those cards. And then yeah, we didn't really understand. We understand why you did that, but then
It was just
Colin's next turn was to draw 2 7s, and then you just took them from him again, which was obviously what you were going to do.
yeah. I think it
It was a naughty
decided
move, I guess.
to give up. Like they
Yeah,
probably,
that was vaccination. Your screen's a bit small for me, but the yellow card he drew was vaccination, right?
no sanitation.
It was
Or
canning.
what does sanitation do?
It was canning. Draw and tuck a 6 if you do score all your top cards without a factory.
Okay, that's okay.
I see yellow 6.
No, that's scanning.
Yeah, sanitation. You exchange the 2 highest cards in your hand with the lowest card in my hand.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I mean, given that I had explosive, like there was no use for it, basically. And also vaccination was in my hand.
Yeah, I was thinking vaccination is a 6, so yeah.
No, the thing here was like I'm in no rush. Like
Yeah.
I could just take the 6s and see if I get something useful. In the meanwhile, I have publication if I want to rearrange the decks.
Yeah.
So like the only way he could do something is by using perspective and scoring things, which he cannot really do if I have more cards. So
Yeah, you'll just out. Yeah, exactly. So. But yeah, so you took his 7s from him.
yeah, and then
Yeah, now we're like, okay, Empire looks like you might be able to get soon, and this. So, but that was quite good, but it was too late.
yes.
Yeah, if he got explosives earlier, it might have messed things up. But obviously, yeah.
Yeah, and then like
Yeah.
at this point it doesn't, like it was just I can get 6 or 7, either of them. So like
Yeah.
like you either need in one move to take off 40 points, like more than 40 points,
Yeah.
or remove 3
yeah.
by 7 cards.
No, yeah, there's nothing happening. Yep.
Yeah. I would have liked to hear Colin's what thought process, like in particular about the like returning 3 cards with Potter, if that's
Yeah, I agree. I think early on there were some questionable choices that worked in the very short term. He got the first achievement, but just looked like they were not going to be helpful, particularly once you like merged alchemy. I think it was, yeah. He needed not to be returning cards, otherwise he'd be stuck at level 1 while you were, you know. So yeah. But sometimes the games go like that.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
Like I think it would have been a tough position. Like alchemy, all those castles, and like the guarantee that it has to work eventually.
Yes.
Okay, I guess we can stop.